WWE Payback, which I think that was just it wasn't a great pay-per-view. It
Right.
had some ups and downs, but there were some moments in that pay-per-view that were good and bad, and we're going to be discussing a lot of that. We're going to be going through that list right now.
Yeah, or lack thereof, as they say, because the pay per view was complete garbage. It was horrible. And look, I mean, it's actually kind of funny because I'm looking at some of the matches that happened. I don't even remember some of them even happening. Like, I don't remember Big E facing Sheamus. I don't remember Matt Riddle facing King Corbin, who, as again, if you, so by Alex, myself, and Jillian, who works at the network, we did a watch party for SmackDown last night, and my assumption of King Corbin is I take craps that have more charisma than King Corbin does. Okay, that's and it's true because to me, I'm so sick of the King Corbin's nonsense. What was the last thing he did? It was Constable Corbin,
And then
and then
before that, it was just the NXT Corbin.
which is fine, but they keep changing it up on him. So I'm just trying to stick with everything and the changing and everything like that. But let's get right to it.
So we had the Riot Squad defeat the Iconics in the kickoff show, in which the Iconics are no longer a team. How do you feel about that, Josh? Because I feel they should have sticked with the Iconics a little bit longer. You know?
You know, that's a great question to ask, Alex, because I've been a fan of the Iconics for a while, and to me, when I look at it, it's kind of if you saw Raw on Monday, I kind of after they lost, they went to Raw Underground, and I kind of got a Shawn Michaels Marty Jannetty feel when Shawn Michaels threw Marty Jannetty through the glass, because when what is it, Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke were in the ring for Raw Underground, Peyton Royce and Billy Kay were challenged, and Peyton Royce threw Billy Kay into the ring. I kind of got a Shawn Michaels Marty Jannetty feel when he threw him through the glass. So I feel like Peyton Royce is going to have a big singles push going forward. I feel like Billy Kay is going to be the comedic wrestler in this whole thing. I mean, but maybe they felt it was time. There's not that many women tag teams in WWE to begin with. So to
No.
break the more popular ones, I thought it was interesting. But look, I think Pam Royce is going to get the big push here. She's going to be the Shawn Michaels. I think Billy Kay is going to be the Martin Jannetty. And we'll see what happens going forward. But I didn't see the match. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I would say that I saw clips of it on YouTube. I would say the match was it was okay. There were some good and bad parts to it, but I honestly did not see the Iconics losing that match, and that's what shocked me the most. And now we're just gonna see how Peyton Royce does as a singles competitor, and I think she's gonna do well. I think it's gonna take a lot of work for her, but in the end, she's going to come out probably as one of the best singles competitors on that brand.
Absolutely, and it's kind of crazy because we already have only like 4 or 5 more minutes to discuss this. But I think a match that stood out to me, Alex, was Keith Lee, Randy Orton, 6.5 minutes, and they really gave Keith Lee that. All right, here you go. We're gonna have you beat one of the best in the business in 6.5 minutes. Take the reins, take the bull by the horns, and go with it. What were your thoughts on that one, Alex? Because I
To
thought it
me,
was
that just doesn't work for me. You can't just beat the best person in like 6 minutes tops. You have to build it up over time. You have to get some heat in there, get some heat between the two competitors, and then
fascinating.
just build up towards that. And then once you get closer to that, then you have Keith Lee beat Randy Orton. But
The
it
match
just
5 or so minutes. I think if it went 10 minutes, that would have been fine.
yeah,
But
it was
it didn't
not.
make any sense to me. I mean, look, I love Keith Lee, and I know you do too. And to me, I think Keith Lee has as bright of a future as anybody in WWE. The problem is, I think it was just. I agree with you 100%, Alex, in the sense that it was just way too short.
Yeah,
And
there should have been more build up too. And that's the problem with WWE and their main roster these days is they don't focus so much on the build up of their competitors, and they need to start doing that.
well, the problem too was why have SummerSlam and then the next week have Payback a week later? That made no sense to
Yeah,
me.
that doesn't it's
Rushing
just
something.
that's to me that makes no sense. They have to build up the pay-per-view at least. Give it time.
Yeah,
Give it a stretch, you know? That just is like
I mean, look, that's 100% correct. And Look, I thought Dominik Mysterio put on another good performance. The match was good. I think Dominic pinning Murphy was interesting. I don't mind it. I like Murphy a lot, but Dominic seems to be really showing something. I think more than we could have anticipated, and it's a good, promising career for the young kid.
Oh yeah, he's doing good so far. I think he is going to really rise to the occasion, really build more of a legacy for him off his father's legacy. So I can see Dominic Mysterio doing very, very well in the WWE, and he has a bright future ahead of him.
Absolutely, and then of course Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax beating Sasha Banks and Bailey, which we saw on SmackDown last night. That role model friendship is kaput. So we you knew there was a build up happening. Apparently, the match was supposed if it was going to happen in Boston. The report was originally the plans were going to be Sasha versus Bailey if SummerSlam happened in Boston. Unfortunately, it did not. It's at the Thunderdome, and because of that, they pushed it off another few weeks. So to me, Nia and Baszler winning, whatever. There's been so many different random tag teams to win the women's tag team championships. I don't even find them relevant anymore. I think they're crap at this point, Alex.
I agree with you. I think I just think they need to bring more attention to the women's tag team division, and the way they could do that is they can build tag teams like Rhea Ripley and Shotzi Blackheart from NXT and have them challenge for those titles. I think that would be a great idea, and I've said that before on Twitter. I said that before on Twitter and on my Twitter at Show Slows, and I really think that it could happen if they give Shotzi Blackheart, Rhea Ripley, and they form Tegan Knox and put her with Candice LeRae as a tag team. That would be great. It would work
That
out for everybody in the women's division.
that's not. I mean, because now they're having a rivalry now, Lorray and Knox. So that's really what it is right now. So I don't think they're going to have that in the future. They have a rivalry,
Maybe
but
down
that's
the road, but not now. Yeah.
you for sure. And then the last thing before we move on to our next topic, which is Roman Reigns beating the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Braun Strowman. Uh, I had a feeling this was how it was going to go, in the sense that Braun and Bray were going to beat the crap out of each other. Boom, Roman Reigns comes out. My other idea I thought was going to happen was why not just have Wyatt pin Strowman and then just have Roman and Bray just have a long little rivalry. But
I
I don't
didn't. I didn't necessarily agree. I did not agree with how the match ended for Roman Reigns, like how he won the championship. A lot of people, including me, were upset by this. I think that Roman Reigns, there should have been more build up for that championship win.
yeah, no, I listen. I'm with you on that one. Like I said, to me, look, they're trying to build Roman up to be the big heel, and now he's going up against Jay Uso, which I think is going to be fascinating. But they want Roman to be the biggest heel. I thought the match was okay. I've seen Braun and Bray wrestle a billion times the last few months, so be it as it may, I would give Payback probably a 5 out of 10.
I would give it like a 4 out of 10.
You hate it.
Yeah, it did not meet my expectations at all.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. All right, Alex, let's get right into it, man. We again so much to do, so little time. It's already flying by.
So now we're up to NXT, and NXT was pretty interesting. We had the 60-minute Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match, and then we had that. Then we had the Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza take on Breezango, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango with Isaiah Swerve Scott. That match to me was good. I feel like there could have been a lot more aggression for Isaiah in that match, and more skill involved for Isaiah. And I loved how Isaiah and Fandango they used a forklift. They jumped off a forklift on into the ring. I thought that was a smart idea from WWE, a cool moment to throw in there into the match. And then we had
No,
Isaiah and Breezango. They showed some great grit in that match, great determination to really pick up the victory, and they did. So there could have been more physicality a tiny bit in that match, but otherwise it was okay.
yeah, I thought NXT was fine. I mean, I looked at it like this. You know what I mean? And like I said, when I look at how NXT is doing it right now, what I enjoyed, the Fatal 4-Way match I enjoyed. And I like the idea that they carried it over to next week. But to have Balor and Cole is interesting because now I look at the whole thing with, okay, Gargano and Ciampa are out. You knew it was going to kind of be a tough. Something fishy was going to happen. Like you knew there was
Yeah,
going to
you
be
knew something was coming.
or something like that, and that's what it wound up being. So for me, I like the idea of Cole versus Balor. I think Balor is going to be the one that winds up winning the belt, and I think it would be the right decision because he hasn't had it in so long. Since he's been back in NXT, he hasn't won the big matches, so let him win it. Um, like you said, I think the forklift idea with Isaiah Swerve was cool with Fandango and Tyler Breeze winning over. I can never say the group's name.
Legata del Fantasma.
There you go, Legata del Fantasma. I can never say the name because I don't want to botch it. Like King Corbin and his personality, I don't want to botch things. So,
But for me, the main event, the Fatal 4-Way 60-minute, the match was back and forth. I loved that. There was a lot of hard-hitting action. Ciampa almost scored the first fall in the middle of the match, and then I loved how every man was scrambling to get a fall. And the interesting thing for me was the ending of the match. The clock ran out before the victor could be decided, and the match overall was a 5-star for me. And I like how they're putting Adam Cole and Finn Balor, two guys that came from New Japan. They were in the Bullet Club together, and this is going to be an interesting match for sure. I'm very excited to see how this plays out. I definitely see Finn Balor taking a victory over Adam Cole because
sure, I think that would be the right decision too, Alex. I think
yeah, I believe it would be a smart decision. And
point of Balor going to keep constantly coming back and losing big match after big match after big match. And what was the point of him coming back to NXT? And then when you look at so Adam Cole, I know what you're saying with New Japan. Adam Cole was more bigger in NXT. I mean, in Ring of Honor, because when Bullet Club was happening, Alex, remember there were two, like it was kind of like there were two Bullet Clubs. There was Bullet Club New Japan, and then there was Bullet Club
Ring of Honor.
Kenny Omega ran both Bullet Clubs, but Adam Cole was pretty much the leader of the Bullet Club in Ring of Honor. The problem because the reason why he didn't get over big in New Japan, but it's kind of like you're bringing New Japan and Ring of Honor together, and you're really trying to dive into it.
But I think I can't wait for this rivalry at the next Super Tuesday is going to be a very interesting one. And I want to see Finn Balor win that championship for sure because he hasn't won the NXT championship in how long? Has it been like 2-3 years, maybe 4, probably longer?
Than that. Oh, it's been longer than that. I think the last time he won it was 2016. I want to say.
Yeah, then he definitely needs to have a big push then. He definitely needs to win.
And the other crazy report too, Alex, is what I read is there are reports possibly that NXT could be moving full time to Tuesdays. And the reason being is because their viewership is up. I think it got 890 in the viewership rating, which is really good for NXT. I think honestly, NXT moving to Tuesdays would be the best idea.
Yeah, it is. It's a smart idea.
Expands more on wrestling for the week. Now you're going to have NXT do well and AEW do well. Everybody wins. Okay? So you have Raw Monday, NXT Tuesday, AEW Wednesday, SmackDown Friday, and then if there's pay-per-views or whatever like that. But I think NXT moving to Tuesday would be the best option.
I agree with you. It's a better option to move to NXT. But hey, at least NXT has better ratings than the main roster.
Well, no. See, the main roster is getting over 1 million viewership.
But to me, I feel like NXT is better than the main roster. To me, I feel like SmackDown's rating, my butt has better ratings than SmackDown.